Hi, it's Nikki here from Happy Hormones for Life. Now, today I want to talk about weight loss jabs. They are in the news, they're in the headlines, and they are being used more and more for people wanting to lose weight. Now, particularly, we're talking about Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. You can see why they're getting big headlines, because obviously people are losing a lot of weight. Originally, they're actually developed to support people with type 2 diabetes. But now obviously they're being used a lot more widely for weight loss in general. In fact, a recent survey found that 1 in 10 women in the UK are taking one of them. So they're getting more and more common. But as with anything, and they are new, fairly new, we don't necessarily, it's easier to jump on the bandwagon without knowing all the facts. No judgment from me about whether you're on it or not, but I would like you to be fully informed before you just make that decision, because it is a drug. So we need to know the ins and outs and the good and bad, because nothing is ever perfect, is it? So beyond the headlines, what do we really know? Are they safe long term? What are the risks? What are the side effects? And what do you need to know before taking them yourself? So, and while you're on them, how do you support yourself? So let's dive in. How do they actually work? Ozempic and Wegovy contain semaglutide, while Mounjaro contains tirzepatide. Hope I've said those right. They're all a class of drugs that mimic hormones that are involved in appetite regulation. So GLP-1, which is glucagon-like peptide 1, is a hormone that helps regulate your blood sugar, and it helps to slow down stomach emptying, which keeps you full for longer, so you're going to eat less. GIP, glucose-dependent insulinotropic polypeptide, I'm going to say GIP, is used by Mounjaro. That's added in, and it works synergistically with the GLP-1 for stronger effects. So basically, these drugs regulate your appetite, so they make you eat less, they make you feel full for longer, and that's how you lose the weight. So they are incredibly effective. They are essentially a low-calorie way of eating. So you're going to eat less, you are going to lose weight. Clinical trials have shown that each of them has varying results. So Ozempic, average weight loss of around 10 to 15% if you use it consistently. Wegovy, it has a higher dose of semaglutide, and that's so it has similar and slightly more weight loss results than Ozempic. And Mounjaro has been shown after 18 months of use to show that people are losing up to 20% of their body weight. So huge results. And it's not surprising that they are very, very appealing. The problem is that studies also show that most people regain up to 2/3 of their lost weight within a year of stopping it if their lifestyle changes aren't in place. So if you do nothing else, just take the jab and you stop, after a year, you're going to be regaining much of what you've lost. So longer term, these aren't necessarily sustainable unless you do some major adjustments. So let's talk about side effects and risks. So the first thing to note is that nothing comes without some kind of downside. So common side effects that we're seeing a lot of include gut stuff, so nausea, indigestion, vomiting, diarrhea or constipation, stomach pain, loss of appetite, obviously, which can actually interfere with other things, fatigue, headaches, dizziness, and with a few women as well, they're noting hair loss. There's a potential reason for that, which I'm going to come on to. And that is that with a low-calorie diet, when you're eating less, you're going to be at risk of not getting enough nutrients in your diet, especially if you're not eating nutrient-dense foods in the food that you're eating, right? So you might just be reaching for something easy. So nutrient deficiencies are a big concern. And that is why some people are seeing a lot of side effects in things like fatigue, hair loss, mood swings, menstrual issues, irregular periods, or missing periods, joint pain, immune system issues, brain fog, cognitive issues, hormone imbalances, and slower recovery as well, because you're not potentially getting enough things like B vitamins, minerals, omega-3s, etc. So this is a key concern for me as a nutritionist. I want you to have the nutrients your body needs to function properly. And when you're on a weight loss jab, you really need to make sure that you're getting those nutrients or supplementing, and or supplementing to make sure you're not going to get some of these common side effects. Number 3 is muscle loss. Okay, so when you're in calorie deficit, your body's going to try and get energy from your body somehow. So fat, yes, it's going to use fat, but it's also going to break down muscle, and it usually goes to muscle first, unfortunately. So when you lose muscle on a low calorie diet, this can affect everything, and especially if you're menopausal, postmenopausal, or over 40, 45, you need your muscle because we lose so much every year. And muscle is so important for metabolism. It helps to regulate your blood sugar and insulin control, and we know we're at more risk of that as we get older. It's helpful for your immune function, so it reduces inflammation and it supports your immune defenses. It's really important for your joints and bones to keep you mobile and strong. It's important for aging, so muscle slows down age-related decline. I talk about that in my book. So it's incredibly important, and long-term weight management as well. You need muscle to support pretty much everything in your body. So when you're on, if you're on a jab or a medication, you need to be focusing on protein in your diet and resistance training. It's so important. And I don't think we get told this when we start these medications, because when you lose muscle, it's going to age you faster. We've all seen the Ozempic face, and I'm sure that's because of the muscle loss. So great, you might lose weight, but it might come at a cost to your strength and your vitality, and also make you age faster. The next thing we want to look at is long-term health risks. Now, these are very new medications, so we don't know the full-term, long-term risk profile yet, but early studies are showing potential health risks, including thyroid cancer, so it has been seen in animal studies, pancreatitis, gallbladder issues, and some kidney issues as well. So it's really, really important, if you do choose to go on this medication, that you work closely with your GP or your specialist and you look out for any unusual symptoms. The next thing we do know, and this is coming out, this is emerging, is that these medications can interact with other medications, including things like the contraceptive pill. So this is because oral medications may be affected due to the slower gastric emptying. So they may not be being absorbed as they should or as they were designed for. So be careful if you're on the birth control pill. Oral progesterone as well. So this may be less effective too if your digestion is altered. And I think it's the British Menopause Society has just come out saying you might need to discuss increasing your dose of progesterone if you're taking a weight loss medication. So talk to your doctor about that. Other diabetes medications as well, there's potential for low blood sugar when these are combined because they have the similar effect. And SSRIs or antidepressants. So some of these medications may increase the risk of mood-related side effects in some people. And I know that Mounjaro has been linked with side effects such as dizziness, fatigue, depression, anxiety, and even suicidal thoughts in some cases. So if you do have any mental health issue, if you've had a history of depression or anxiety, or if you're on medications, please seek support before you take Mounjaro. And now, if you are taking, or if you're on these weight loss medications, these are some tips how to support your body to reduce the risk of side effects and any longer term risks, and to get the best results as well. So firstly, focus on nutrient dense foods. So prioritize protein at every meal. So we want to protect that muscle mass. Include healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, nuts, seeds, oily fish. Eat lots of fiber too, and whole foods, because this is going to support your gut and increase your satiety as well. So we want to be looking at 35 grams of fiber per day. Avoid ultra processed foods. So these can trigger cravings and more inflammation. We don't want that. We want to be packing in the nutrients in the food that you're getting. And you've got to support your gut. So look at gut healthy foods to support that production of short chain fatty acids in the gut, which help with appetite and GLP-1 production. Secondly, we need to be adding in strength training. So important to protect the muscles, because if you're losing muscle mass, you need to be actively putting it back on. So lifting weights or body weight exercises 2-3 times a week to preserve the muscle, support your metabolism, and improve your long-term results. Number 3 is address the underlying drivers of the weight gain that you had in the first place. So weight is very complex and it's impacted by many different things. So you want to try and look at what your weight gain was influenced by or impacted by and see if you can address those root causes. Because if you don't, when you come off the medication, the likelihood is that you're just going to regain the weight. So look at your stress levels. High and low cortisol can impact your weight. Poor sleep or irregular sleep-wake cycle, lack of movement, being too sedentary, hormone imbalances. These are super important. Hormone imbalances can massively influence your weight, so particularly thyroid, insulin, cortisol, and of course your menopausal sex hormone changes as well. So get those tested if you can, so that you can address them before you come off. And of course, emotional eating patterns too. If you work on those root causes, get tested if you can, or work with a professional, then you are so much more likely to keep those good results if you're on the jabs for a longer term. Now, if you're not on the jabs, you don't want to take them, you can absolutely stimulate the GLP-1 agonist naturally. So you've just got to pick, do the right things basically. So in your diet, you're looking for protein and fiber. I've already mentioned that, but both of those things help to trigger your GLP-1 release and production and improve your appetite regulation. Healthy fats, they help regulate your blood sugar. Ultra processed foods, no good for any of those. They reduce GLP-1 and they increase insulin resistance and inflammation. So we want to stay away from those. And we want to support our gut health again. So those short chain fatty acids. So we're looking at what the foods that really trigger those fatty acids to produce GLP-1 are things like fermented foods, kefir, kombucha, sauerkraut, live yogurts, prebiotics, things like onions, leeks, garlic, cold unripe bananas, probiotics and polyphenols. So all your fruit and veg and your live yogurts and your polyphenols in all your vegetables and your fruit and berries and green tea, dark chocolate, and your omega-3 fats, so chia, flax, oily fish. So get those in your diet in abundance and you'll be stimulating natural GLP-1. Movement also naturally increases your GLP-1 levels, particularly brisk walking and strength training. So get that strength training whether you're on or off the jabs, because you're going to be helping. Supplements, there's not a huge amount of research on supplements and GLP-1, but taking the basic top 5 that I usually recommend, which are your multi, your vitamin D with K, your magnesium, your omega-3s and your vitamin C, plus there are some promising nutrients for appetite and blood sugar management. These include things like berberine, curcumin, N-acetylcysteine and green tea extract. There's a list. This is a blog too, so go check out the blog and you can revisit some of those. But as always, check with your doctor before taking any new supplements if you have a health condition or you're taking medication. Final thoughts are that weight loss jabs are no doubt effective for weight loss, but before you choose to take them, do so fully informed. And if you are on them, make sure you're supporting your body with everything it needs. These are prescription drugs for a reason. So do discuss your suitability with your doctor and work with your doctor or a health practitioner so that you're not putting yourself at any risk of any further health conditions or complications. And please don't buy these jabs online without a prescription. There are fake pens being sold out there and we don't know what is in them. So please be careful. So whether you choose to use one of these medications or not, make sure you support your body with its basic needs: nourishment, exercise, sleep, balance, and mindset shifts, so that you are looking at the long term and not just a quick fix. And if you'd like any support to lose weight either on or off the jabs, do contact us for more info on our testing and our one-to-one support. Hope you find that helpful.